Vamos a empezar la siguiente sesión, si no les importa. Gracias.
Muy buenas a todos, a todas. Welcome, thank you to be here. Yo voy a hablar unos minutos solamente para alegrarnos, para celebrar que podemos tener en este pabellón de España el panel más europeo que vamos a vivir durante toda esta estancia en el Mobile. Tenemos la enorme suerte de hablar de tecnología francesa aplicada en Suecia que va a poder ser explotada y desarrollada más en nuestro país. Estos son los proyectos que cambian Europa y que estas palabras que decimos mucho de soberanía, de independencia y de capacidades recobren una realidad distinta y tomen el verdadero valor que tienen, porque si nosotros tenemos una visión del mundo y no somos capaces de poder implantarla con desarrollo y con empresas, va a ser imposible que la visión europea, que es la mejor, pueda salir adelante. Así que, si quieres, Adrián, te doy paso. Thank you very much. Gracias por estar aquí y this is your home. Gracias.
De red.es, con lo cual felicidades por todo ese trabajo, Jesús, y seguimos juntos. Well, today I have an exceptional panel here to moderate. As you can see in your screens, today we have with us Ida. She's a researcher from the Swedish Defense Research Agency. Thank you very much, Ida, for being here with us.
Thank you.
We have with us also here next to me Emil. Emil is the CEO and scientist chief director at Hypermind. You are one of the founders of Hypermind, or the founder at Hypermind, and you have more than 25 years developing collective intelligence and innovation through that platform. Thank you for being here also.
Thank you.
And I'm Adrian, and I'm a partner and president at Vivarlet, which is basically a Spanish consultancy firm. So, first of all, the title of our panel, which is quite auto-descriptive, says, "The Power of Collective Intelligence, European Technology to Anticipate the Future." Let me explain a little bit further on that title. Well, basically, power of collective intelligence, because it is scientifically demonstrated, then the capability of collective intelligence in order to predict the future, it is stronger than any single expert or even a community of experts. So it's scientifically demonstrated that when you put people together and as much diverse people is in the group, they are able to forecast, to predict, and to draw different scenarios, assigning probabilities to each one of those. Then the European technology, basically it's the European leader on that particular technology is Hypermind. So it's a European technology, and probably this is one of the more Europeistic panels, since we have like an application case at the Swedish Defense Ministry, and now we are like exploiting that technology as a consultancy firm in order to integrate these methodologies in our projects. So that will be the explanation of the title, and here you have like 4 different reasons on how we at Vivarlet develop or use or implement that particular technology. So the first one is in order to crowdstorm together, so in order to have different ideas, in order to being able of thinking out of the box, in order to identify scenarios, probabilities, possible regulations, possible events to happen in the future. The second way is in order to reprioritize, in order to recategorize, so in order to make sense and order on those inputs we obtain in the first category. The third one is then how you assign to those possibilities, how you order those possibilities with regarding budget, regarding priorities, regarding risks, and the last one is assigning probabilities to all those scenarios that are already being refined. So why conventional decision-making processes fail? Well, basically because cognitive biases, basically because group thinking, basically because overconfidence of those experts. And by doing that, what we are trying to do is introduce a proven methodology, scientifically support in order to predict events, but not only that, also in order to crowd-storm, as I was saying before. And here, probably one of the more paradoxal things is that generally, when we have to take decisions, the people that is in the room is a small group because of the geopolitical context, because of the access to information or information asymmetries. And basically, this technology is telling us that diversity, it is not like a moral principle. Diversity it's a mathematical advantage when it comes to predict the future and to draw different scenarios. Right. So we are doing from that an advantage. Here we are here today at the Mobile World Congress at Barcelona in order to announce also that B. Bartlett has become in exclusivity the consultancy firm partner for the European Union exploiting that technology, that HyperRAN technology. And we're very happy and very proud to announce that. Thank you, Emil. We are very positive about the future because traditionally consultancy, basically, we have based our analysis on experts. So this is a way where you can combine our expertises with a very robust methodology. This is basically how your platform looks like once you get in. So you may, Emil, we have two slides for you. We have that one and that one with some of the prediction markets you have right now open. So I don't know if you want to drive us through your platform a little bit in order to understand better how it works.
Well, we've created what we call a prediction institute, which is basically, it works like a polling institute, except it's focused on predictions, right? So we have different ways of gathering predictions from a very large communities. One of the projects we'll be talking about with IDA is happening in Sweden, where we have 20,000 participants, right, who are recruited from the general public, the citizenry. In Hypermind in France and the US, we also have these prediction markets that gather thousands of people who are on the ground, who are not experts necessarily, not the people with the university diplomas, but they are people interested in what is going on in the world, people who read the newspapers, who have special ground knowledge from their own perspective on the world, their own jobs, etc. And they are able collectively to produce amazingly accurate predictions, probability predictions about what is going to happen in the world. So they will not be able necessarily to tell you exactly what will happen or what won't happen, but they will give you very precise probabilities about what might happen. And so they will quantify the risks and the opportunities for you.
Do you want to share with us some of the,
right, so these are some
prediction markets we are running today?
Some of our current prediction markets. So we have one, I can see it, it's very small on the screen here for me, but it's basically whether Pedro Sanchez will lose power in 2026. And I think the prediction is basically no. He will remain in power for 2026. High probability, right, around maybe 85%. I can't read it from here, but it looks very high. Then we have a prediction market about whether Trump is going to visit China in 2026, and that's been a prediction that's been going on for a while. And I think currently it is pretty high, but maybe, given what's going on in Iran, you can expect that maybe it might go down a little bit because the likelihood that something will make it politically weird for Trump to go to China today is increasing, right? And so we have then other economic predictions about which company is going to have the highest market capitalization by the end of the year. And it looks like it's NVIDIA who is going to, again, be the winner as it was last year. And finally, we have this prediction about who's going to be elected this month in March in Paris as the new mayor. And it looks like the socialist candidate is going to keep the socialists in power in the French capital. But again, these are all probabilities, not certainties, right?
And just remember that the role of Ibarlet is like activating all this intelligence into action. So now we're moving into IDA's project. So basically, those are like the main 4 findings of the project. But we would like you to explain us what the project has been about, what results have you obtained, how did it work for you at the Swedish Defense Department?
Well, the project has been it's a support project for Ukraine. So it's essentially having a prediction poll where we try to predict questions that Ukraine wants to understand better, right? So all of the questions on this poll come from Ukraine, and we have participants from about 20,000 participants from the public, from the general public, mostly Swedish, but we have participants from all over the world, and I'm pretty sure here in Spain as well. And everyone that wants to support Ukraine can come and do so, and try to make their best predictions about the future for these important questions. And it's been a really interesting project. And it's been interesting to work with Hypermind as well on this. I would say it's been very successful. And what I mean with that is we've had lots of response. I mean, we have lots of people that are engaged in this. And we also, of course, provide sort of the details from the platform or the results, the output from the platform to Ukraine to help them make better decisions.
Can you give us an example, a real example on how like real forecasting obtained through the platform has influence in a real decision?
I can't really give you an example. I would say there are 2. I mean, we don't really know. We're not supposed to know exactly what they use this for. What we do know is that they do use this output. They have it like as a part of their analysis, of course, of what kind of decisions to make. And what we do know is that they're really interested, and it's been interesting for us to see how they use the data and what they're actually interested in, and what kind of questions they sort of ask us about the data that can help them both identify risks and sort of opportunities. So it's been really interesting for us to learn from them as well.
Yeah. I would add that this is the 2nd year of the project. So it's already been going on for a year. It's being renewed because the Ukrainians find it useful to their work, right? And what I loved about the project is the way they communicated about it. In the Stockholm subway, they had these posters that said, "You in the rush hour traffic, your mind is our new weapon.
Wow!
You can help us to help the war effort for Ukraine and support."
Makes sense. Tell us, Emil, what is the real power of prediction market? So imagine here we have like in front of us corporations, companies. We have with us also institutions. So how would you explain them the potentiality of this tool?
Well, in the 1990s, there was a great CEO of Hewlett-Packard. I forgot his name, but I don't forget what he said. He had this great quote that said, "If only Hewlett-Packard knew what Hewlett-Packard knows," right? So there's an enormous amount of information within any organization that is spread out in different brains and is not being properly aggregated so that it's given to the decision makers in a timely manner and in a consolidated way, right? So prediction markets allow you to do that. They allow you to get to incentivize everybody who knows something that's important something that may influence a decision in a particularly successful way, to contribute and consolidate it with other people who have other pieces of the puzzle and give it as a complete puzzle to the decision makers. So that is the power of prediction markets, enabling decisions with better predictions.
That's great. I mean, to the companies and to the institutions here, we can say that the tool exists, the science is proven, and the platform is ready there to be used and ready to be implemented. So we'll be happy to help them. So what do we, I mean, a question for Ida and for you also, Emil. What do you think Europe can and should do in the world of collective intelligence, also having into consideration that we are in the era of strategy autonomy? So how would we implement this technology? What we can do with that? I mean, how we can go further with that? How can this be an autonomy different strategy? So what can we do with that?
How we can use it, I think we can apply it both sort of from a small scale to a large scale. I think there's lots of different ways to apply it. You can apply it just kind of taking the the knowledge that it's really important to make decisions so that more than just experts have something to contribute, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something you can apply also in a small scale. That's sort of applicable, everywhere.
Do you think is even a way to legitimize decisions in democratic countries? Like, since you make people to participate on the prediction, it's a way to legitimate the decision-making process of governments, or nothing to do with that?
I think, in this case, what we do is, or what this sort of is about, is not necessarily making a decision, right? And not sort of selecting a future necessarily, but just like giving an understanding of what the future will be like. But I do think that is important also, sort of from a democratic point of view, that people get to sit down and think about this and make these judgments about the future and try to make them as good as possible. I think it's really valuable to try to become better at it.
So, and we're here, from Spain, Sweden, France. We are Europe, right? From all over the place. I think the number one secret weapon of Europe is diversity.
That's right.
Right? Diverse cultures. It's much more diverse than, let's say, America. Definitely much more diverse than China. Definitely. It's much more diverse because we don't have this melting pot idea, right? We have strong cultures that cohabit and decide to collaborate. And the number one driver of collective intelligence is diversity, right? Different points of views. So collective intelligence is a European project, and I think it is also your B. Bartlett project, right?
Yeah.
To spread out this collective intelligence across Europe. And so these technologies enable us to gather all these different points of views from different parts of Europe for common goals, for the common purposes and common problems that we have, like the Ukraine problem. Ukraine is not a Ukraine problem, it's not a Swedish problem, it's a European problem, right? And so this project, GLIMT, is a fantastic showcase for a European project about collective intelligence. To me, it's like the number one collective intelligence project in Europe. Maybe it's the only one at this point, right?
Generally, you have understood diversity as a disadvantage, and now you know this technology or this way to think and to predict clearly makes diversity an advantage. So clearly we can work on top of that as an advantage as Europeans.
Absolutely. Plus it gives us a common language, because we're talking about probabilities, making predictions, talking to each other in these platforms in different languages, but it all comes down to mathematics, betting against each other in order to make the best predictions. And so easily we can consolidate all our point of views into something that is useful for the common problems that we have.
Another perspective that really impresses me is that probably we have more data than ever, but we are in the most complex, geopolitical situations. Technology, growing very fast, very complex regulatory scenarios, and yet decisions aren't being the better ones, right? So we have the moment, very complex situation. We have more data than ever, but yet decisions could be made in a better way. So
Yes.
how prediction markets is clearly a solution to that.
I mean, to me, it's a solution because it allows European decision makers to tap into the local expertise of citizens on the ground, right? Very often, European citizens feel like the decisions made in Brussels, for example, are disconnected from the reality on the ground. So this is a way, just like the Hewlett-Packard CEO said, if only the European decision makers knew what European citizens know, that would be great, right? So we can help with that.
Do you want to add something on that, Ida?
No, but I think you were talking about data, and then we have a lot of data. And I think in this case, for the types of decisions that we look at, or for the type of forecast that we look at, humans are very good at kind of understanding that data as well, right? It's not just so the forecast that the individuals make, they're not necessarily based on just a hunch, right? Hopefully not, but they can also base their decisions or their judgments about the future on data. So in this case, I think they're actually pretty good at understanding the data.
We cannot be at the Mobile World Congress at Barcelona and not talking about artificial intelligence, obviously. So my following set of questions would be, how do you think artificial intelligence will complement prediction markets? There is a connection between those two worlds, or those are parallel activities?
No, but they can coexist, I think, definitely. AI forecasting, for instance, can be useful. And then I would say, currently, what you use AI for in the GLIMT project is that it's a way to sort of summarize sort of rationales that people have given. So what we ask participants to do is not only to make a probability or sort of decide on the probability of a certain question, but also to give some sort of a rationale and explanation for that. And currently, AI is the only way we can properly summarize that and kind of tease those argument apart.
What do you want to add on
Yeah.
that, Emil?
So, I run this company, Hypermind, that does collective intelligence with human forecasters, with GLIMT. And we also created this new company that does only AI forecasting, called the Forecasting Machine, right? And it works beautifully. It works at the same level as human collective intelligence. It's as good at making predictions today. And maybe it will become even better in the sense that it can make forecasts about 10,000 questions when humans can make only about 100 questions, right? So you can have the scale and the speed that humans do not have. But there is still a purpose to projects like GLIMT that AI cannot fill, which is engaging a population to care about an issue by, in a way, gamifying the problem, right? So if we could have AI answer questions for the Ukrainian analysts, but that would not fit the purpose of engaging the European citizenry to care about what's going on in Ukraine, right? And so I think that's where the human crowd forecasting prediction markets have a real purpose, which is to keep people to be engaged also. So it's not only predictions, it's also engagement.
Thank you very much for being here with us today. We are running short of time, so thank you for being here in Barcelona. And just stating that today, we're very proud to announce that B. Bartlett became Hypermind exclusive consulting partner in Europe. So we are very happy of that. We hope to do lots of things together. And thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ida.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yes.